We export prime coffee. We export prime tea. That is what Kenya has been known for. That is what Kenya should be known for. And that is what our government should strive to be known for. That we are exporting professionals of the highest caliber who can bring back home skills that can drive this economy. And I am not afraid to say that someone who went to the university, it is demeaning for them to go to Qatar and be subjected to house calls, Mr. Speaker, when that person studied architecture, that person studied law, that person studied engineering. Let us not be apologetic. Let us not be embarrassed to call it what it is. But, Mr. Speaker, I do not believe that Senator Orwoba, 9 months from today, because she has told us there was no withdrawal, so there will be some things after 9 months. 9 months from today, I do not think that that baby that she will raise and take to school, that she would be happy for that child to study engineering, only for that child to become a housemaid. Let us not be mediocre. Let us not be mediocre. And let us tell the government not to treat Kenyans in a mediocre fashion. We have the capacity to be the Silicon Savannah. Mr. Speaker, we have the capacity to export IT labor. We have the capacity to export legal labor. The president should not be using taxpayers' money to go and look for jobs of guards and house girls. And we are not demeaning them. We are just saying that let him create those opportunities here at home. Mr. Speaker, I beg to support.
Now, Senator Halwale, you definitely cannot then...
I rise under Standing Order number 66 to request that since we have now become repetitive on this procedural motion, Mr. Speaker, you put the question, you invite the mover to reply. I want to do some other business.
Senator Gloria, order, Senator Gloria. Senator Sifuna, order members. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 109, I call upon the mover to reply so that we can progress on this motion. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 1091, I propose the question that the mover be called upon to reply on the motion. Majority Leader. Honorable members, will as many as of the opinion that the mover be called upon to reply say aye? Aye. The ayes have it. Majority Leader, proceed to reply.
Speaker, I want to thank colleagues who have taken time to speak to this motion, who have supported, and the commitment that has been made this afternoon by colleagues, Mr. Speaker, that they'll try and attend these sessions every afternoon, Mr. Speaker, debate, engage, Mr. Speaker, choose to be informed, not spew ignorance, Mr. Speaker, or half-truths, Mr. Speaker. I want to appreciate, Mr. Speaker, the interest with which many of our colleagues have on the government programs of Kenya Kwanza. I would invite Senator Moses Kajwang that he is looking for the information on bilateral labor agreements, Mr. Speaker, in the wrong places, Mr. Speaker. Such information as the jobs that the President has secured cannot be found in the postings that he's referring to, Mr. Speaker. Information on KNBS, and such like information, Mr. Speaker. I want, Mr. Speaker, to appreciate as well, Mr. Speaker, the commitment that has come from Senator Cherargei and Senator Eddy, that despite their young age and interest within and without of this House, Mr. Speaker, that they will always stay between 2:30 and 6:30 in following what the leadership is urging them to do, Mr. Speaker. And that is how they will become leaders in this House in the future, Mr. Speaker, out of their dedication. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply.
Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 84-1, the matter does not affect counties. And I now put the question that notwithstanding the resolutions of the Senate made, Senator Boni Halwale. Kindly take your seat. I now put the question that, notwithstanding the resolutions of the Senate made on 15th of February 2024, approval of the Senate calendar, and 19th of August 2024, alteration of the Senate calendar, pursuant to Standing Order 32-4, the Senate resolves to further alter its calendar, regular sessions for the third session, 2024, in respect of Part 4. To 1, continue with regular sittings until Thursday, 31st of October, 2024. 2, proceed for recess from 1st November, 2024. And 3, resume regular sittings on Tuesday, 12th of November, 2024. Honorable members, will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Could you please call the next order?
Order number 11, motion, alteration of dates for the sittings of the Senate in Busia County.
Senate Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move the motion on the alteration of dates for the sitting of the Senate in Busia County. That aware that on the 11th of July 2024, pursuant to Article 126(1) of the Constitution, the Senate did resolve to hold its plenary and committee sittings in Busia County from 23rd to 27th of September 2024, acknowledging that the recommendation of the Senate Business Committee to alter the dates for holding the sittings in Busia County and the need to put in place necessary measures for successful sittings. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves to alter the dates for the Senate Mashinani in Busia County from 23rd to 27th of September 2024 to the 28th of October to 1st of November 2024. These are moved by about 4 weeks, Mr. Speaker. I had explained earlier that there are certain contingency plans, Mr. Speaker, that haven't been concluded between us and the county of Busia, Mr. Speaker. You do understand that a visit in the Senate Mashinani program, Mr. Speaker, involves so many other plans, Mr. Speaker. In fact, Mr. Speaker, this program is so elaborately organized that it has now attracted global recognition. And in the beginning of next month, the minority leader and yours truly have been invited to Athens, Greece, Mr. Speaker, to receive an award on behalf of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya for innovative practices in entrenchment of democracy, Mr. Speaker, courtesy of the Senate Mashinani program. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, if the Secretariat and the technical people that are putting together this program, Mr. Speaker, ask that we delay our going to Busia by 4 weeks, Mr. Speaker, just so that we can have an even better Senate Mashinani than what we have had in Turkana, in Uasin Gishu, Kitui, Mr. Speaker, so that we make it better and make the people of Busia feel and interact with the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. Then it's a simple ask for us. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is a fairly straightforward matter. I don't intend to be long on it. We've spent the afternoon debating, informing each other, Mr. Speaker, on various things. Therefore, I don't want to speak very long on this particular matter. I want to invite the Senator for Migori, Senator Eddie Okech Gisheru, Mr. Speaker, to second.
Mr. Speaker, it's an honor to second this motion, and I think it's in order, given that in the wisdom of the leadership of the House, Mr. Speaker, there are some assessment that has been done with regard to probably resource constraints, Mr. Speaker, that definitely we need to look into. Mr. Speaker, it is true that even now, Mr. Speaker, the Senate operations money hasn't come to the senators, and actually they are struggling to actually keep, we are struggling actually, I should not say they, but we are struggling to keep our operations going because of some challenges with the exchequer releases, Mr. Speaker. So it's indeed true that some adjustments need to be made. But, Mr. Speaker, even as we opt for this adjustment, Mr. Speaker, apart from just taking the proceedings of the Senate to the grassroots level, Mr. Speaker, it's also important to say that my senior, Senator Cheriot, the majority leader, this is an opportunity actually to go and learn of opportunities that exist in the grassroots to inform this Senate in terms of the policies that we need to be advancing, Mr. Speaker. For instance, I've had an elaborate conversation around this issue of job creation, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, sometimes when you go to these grassroots communities and be able to genuinely engage and involve yourself in the economic ecosystem in those regions, Mr. Speaker, you will be able to identify areas that should be able to inform our policy framework and the kind of legislation we need to pass in this House that can interact with issue of job creation, Mr. Speaker. For instance, I know that Senator Cheriot likes Mursik so much, Mr. Speaker, but when he goes to Busia, which is very close to the great county of Kisumu, and also extend to the border of Kenya-Uganda, Mr. Speaker, you will realize that the economy of fish is very big there, Mr. Speaker. We have seen people, fighting over menial jobs that are created abroad, Mr. Speaker. Sometimes even if you talk about absolute numbers on those jobs, you might find that the so-called maids that we are giving abroad, Mr. Speaker, can be sometimes 100 or 200 a year. The other day I saw the Prime Secretary launching about 167 teachers abroad, Mr. Speaker. But actually in those local communities, exists a very big opportunity to create a lot of jobs for our young people. For instance, I want to invite particularly the majority leader that when you're in Busia, take a keen look at the fish economy in that region, Mr. Speaker. The fish economy in this country, Mr. Speaker, we are being told by experts, to be specific, the GASP research have shown that the gap that we have in this country in terms of demand for fish, Senator Cheriot, is about 600,000 metric tons. These 600,000 metric tons, locally we only produce about 200,000 metric tons. About 400,000 metric tons is being filled in by actually our neighbors in Uganda, where we are going to spend our time in Busia, and China, to be specific. But GASP has also indicated that Lake Victoria alone, Mr. Speaker, has got the capacity of holding the entire 400,000 metric tons in terms of fish production, and not just fish production in terms of wild catch, but also in terms of just growing fish through what we call cage farming, Mr. Speaker. In that region, Mr. Speaker, when you go to the neighborhood called the Homa Bay County, there is a farm called Victory Farms. Victory Farms is currently doing about 10,000 metric tons, and it is considered the biggest in that region. Can you imagine with only 10,000 metric tons of fish production per year, Mr. Speaker, this I'm informing the majority leader through you, Mr. Speaker, through that alone, the Victory Farm is able to employ 1,000 people directly as permanent and casuals in their farms. But also, through that, they have been able to create 200 outlets that employs another 700 people. If just one investor in that region can be able to put about an economy that employs 1,700, why should we be fighting about abroad jobs when even if you think about people like Rio Fish is the biggest aggregator of fish in Homa Bay County, Mr. Speaker, and Rio Fish does only about 300 metric tons. We are talking about a gap of 400,000 metric tons. And Rio Fish can be able to employ further 600 people through their casuals and permanent opportunities in that fish industries. What am I saying here, Mr. Speaker, as I finish? I'm saying that as you go to that grassroots community, Mr. Speaker, let's fetch for those opportunities that we can be able to come and legislate in terms of creating job opportunities for our people. And Busia, I believe that if you look at it, it's going to be an eye-opener for the Senate when we go there. Therefore, I support this, and I hope that we will get the resources needed to make sure that senators can spend time in Busia for those 4-5 days we'll be in Busia. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, the same character of people missing in sessions here, Mr. Speaker, I hope that will not extend to people missing in Busia, because that will be a learning opportunity for senators to see and bring back. I second, Mr. Speaker, and I really appreciate the fact that this has been considered and is going to be in our calendar this year. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Karen Nyamu, resume your seat. Senator Gloria, Senator Mutinda, resume your seat. Honorable Senators, I now propose the question that aware that on 11th of July 2024, pursuant to Article 126(1) of the Constitution, the Senate resolves to hold its plenary and committee sittings in Busia County from 23rd to 27th of September 2024. Acknowledging the recommendation of the Senate Business Committee to alter the dates for holding of the sittings in Busia County and the need to put in place the necessary measures for successful sittings, now therefore, the Senate resolves to alter the dates for the Senate Mashinani in Busia County from 23rd to 27th September 2024 to 28th October to 1st of November 2024. Honorable Senators, considering that this particular motion is similar to the earlier motion, I will only allow from those who order members. There are members who requested in earlier debate to speak to this motion. I will allow only 2 members and under 2 minutes each to contribute to this motion. And Senator John Kinyua.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Nasimama kuunga mkono kubadilisha kwa tarehe ya kuwa na kikao katika kaunti ya Busia, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, inapatia seneti fursa ya kutembelea mashinani na kupata kuchangamkia mambo ambayo inawahusu wale watu katika ile kaunti, Bwana Spika. Haijapotea kwangu, Bwana Spika, seneti hii imetembea katika kaunti nyingi, tukianzia tumetembea kaunti ya Kitui ambapo Bwana Spika tuliona ya kwamba wakati yule gavana alikuwa ameanzisha kiwanda cha kutengeneza nguo. Bwana Spika, tulienda mahali kunaitwa Uasin Gishu. Bwana Spika, Uasin Gishu tuliona wakulima wakati yule walikuwa wamejawa na ghadhabu wakisema ya kwamba wanataka bei yao ya mahindi iweze kuangaliwa. Bwana Spika, tukaambiwa tuzungumze mahindi. Bwana Spika, nakumbuka Mheshimiwa Murkomen aliambiwa, Murkomen, wacha Kiingereza, una Kiingereza kizuri, leo ongea mahindi. Bwana Spika, tukienda mashinani tunaweza kupata haya mambo moja kwa moja kutoka kwa wananchi. Vile vile tuliweza kutembelea hospitali ya Moi ya Referral Hospital, Bwana Spika, na vile vile Bwana Spika pale tuliweza kuona shida zinazo wakumba. Bwana Spika, tulitembelea hivi juzi tumekuwa katika kaunti ya Turkana, Bwana Spika, tukaona vile ambavyo mambo ya stima inavyofanywa pale, Bwana Spika, tukiwa katika kamati. Vile vile Bwana Spika, maswali mengi yaliweza kuibuka. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, hii inapatia